Hey, so there's been a lot of hype about the o1 model, and they say that it's a much better programmer, so to speak, and that it's capable of doing STEM type activities with much more efficiency. So in this video, I'm going to actually write a prompt for a game. The reason why I'm doing this is because I've seen that a lot of the prompts that people have made are quite simple. You know, if you're making like a Pong game and there isn't much to it, it can do those types of tasks probably pretty easily. But like people are making these claims that oh, this is the end of software development, my job is over, and etc. And I find these posts actually are quite destructive, and they give people this sense that like they're first of all devaluing this profession, but they also are inflating what these LLMs are actually capable of. Don't get me wrong, I actually use ChatGPT for programming, as well as Copilot, but like I only give it very tiny little tasks, and its involvement in my work at the end of the day, after using it since it's come out, I would say probably it helps me with 10%. At first, when I just started using it, I thought that it was doing much better than that, because it was all of a sudden doing all sorts of things that I was just too lazy to do. But those things kind of ran out, and now it'll just help me get some boilerplate down pretty quickly. But I'd argue that the benefits from that actually diminishes, and the benefits of using LLMs for programming does actually also diminish. Now, this o1 came out, and it claims to be better. Sounds great. So I'm going to just write this prompt here. It's a game off the top of my head. It's a like an invaders game that combines in speed typing. It's just something off the top of my head. I want to see how good ChatGPT with the o1-preview can actually do at building this game for me. I'm going to try to be dumb. I'm going to try to not be a programmer and just kind of let ChatGPT tell me what to do, and see if it can replace me as a developer. So far, it has told me to create a bunch of files. I've asked for it to use webpack. No frameworks. I didn't want to use a framework because I think that those are also kind of diminishing in terms of return on an investment. I use webpack because it just simplifies the build process, and allows us to keep our code kind of clean. HTML now has, or JavaScript now has components now, which make things also capable of being quite clean without actually using webpack. But I just want to keep things simple and go with what I'm used to, so I've asked it to use webpack. So you can see here already from my prompt, I asked for it to create my game in CSS, and you can see already it has completely ignored what I asked for and chose to create it with Canvas. So like already we're getting the same kind of thing, getting me to put in all this work, putting all this code in, and it hasn't even followed the most basic of instructions to use the technology that I asked for, which is CSS, something that's should be so straightforward. It is actually a lot simpler to create this game with CSS than Canvas. So the fact that it didn't do what I asked, it also just rendered a blank screen. So that's kind of annoying as well. It's still really just building stuff that has bugs in it, but that's okay. We're gonna try to fix it, try to get ChatGPT to fix it. I noticed one thing about the o1-preview is that like it clearly does, as they claim it should, spend more time before it actually delivers your prompt. I think that it says somewhere like how much time it actually spent thinking about what it was supposed to do before actually doing it. So it'll say something like spent 31 seconds like thinking about the problem, but like, man, this is quite long. So in this video, just for reference, like I do speed certain parts of it up, and I make little cuts, but very little. But ultimately, this whole process that I'm doing is over a span of 45 minutes. So I'm giving ChatGPT myself 45 minutes to try to deliver the most basic game, really. Like it's not a Pong game. This involves like maybe like the concept of two games, speed typing and like an invaders style alien game, but it's still quite simple. There's so many things that are missing from it. So here you can see that it's actually created a triangle as my ship. I asked for it to design me a ship. I was expecting something much nicer than a triangle. And also you can see like the rocket is showing. So like when I press the up arrow, you can see like a little flicker of an orange. That's supposed to be like the jet doing propulsion, but like it's coming out of the top of it, and really feels like the LLM really has no clue what I actually want. Now you could argue, oh, I could have been a lot more descriptive. I could have said like how many shapes to use when creating the ship. I could have said where the rocket should go out of the ship, how many rockets it should use, and like got a lot more descriptive. But like I'd argue like we're getting like when I get to that kind of level of descriptiveness, like we're getting close to me just coding it myself. So it's actually apologizing to me for not doing the game as I would expect, but really like it's not like it's I almost feel insulted by that, like as I'd expect, as anybody would expect. This is not a game. Nothing moves. The propulsion doesn't work. The thing is very much barely functional, but let's give it a chance. We're going to go through, we're going to copy paste all of these changes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, one thing you will see is like at some points, it's kind of interesting. It's different from previous OpenAI models in that it'll actually tell me to make changes within a single prompt to something that it said earlier, and that's kind of different. So it's kind of like it's as it's writing its message to me, it's like actually kind of changing its mind about things and stuff. It also got kind of lazy, and that was part of the process of or part of the bugs that were created. It got lazy and it didn't like fill out all the information. Like it didn't actually generate me the SVGs that I asked for the game, and it just kind of put in like stubs. When I've been pretty clear, I want this game to actually get generated, but maybe it only has so much it can do in one prompt, so it's trying to break it down for me. So I'm trying to go through here. I'm trying to just get all these files updated. Using a tool like GTP or something like that might be quicker because all this is done automatically, but it's not a big deal. Like ultimately, I'm pretty quick at copy pasting these things in, and the LLM is supposed to be doing more thinking, but yeah, it's still ultimately creating a lot of bugs. Not doing the task to its fullness, which is consuming a lot of time. So yeah, I'm just pasting the errors that it comes up with in my terminal back into it, and then finally now I don't have errors, but I still don't have anything really going on here. At least the propulsion, you can see it's coming out of the bottom now for some reason. I guess it just kind of figured that out on its own to improve that. But yeah, so I'm going into Inspector and trying to understand, like, why don't we see anything on the screen happening? Seems like the stuff is all out of view, which is not really great for a game. Like, you don't want to start at a game and it's just like a black screen. But I'm going to actually try to move around and see. Oh, so yeah, you can see here, like, I guess that's like an alien ship. The alien ship was actually, I told ChatGPT that these ships should be able to shoot at me. Okay, so here's a planet, and if I press the keys, okay, so it actually did disappear. That's okay, but it took me 45 minutes to get to this point, and I kind of find this really disappointing. And in no way do I find that this is like threatening my job, and to take this a step further, I would actually want to make a follow-up on this video where I'll give myself 45 minutes to build this game with no AI and compare how much closer I'm able to come to the prompt than what ChatGPT is capable of. And to be honest, like, I still find this game extraordinarily simple, and I feel like to get to the point where the prompt is actually being followed, like the instructions are actually happening, because ultimately ChatGPT will become more and more out of line with the code that we have in our files as the context length runs out, or as it just becomes more and more confused because of the task becoming larger and larger the more stuff that it outputs into the chat. And to actually get to the end point of this prompt, I could see myself like almost never getting there. You'd have to really be like knowing what to put into your prompts and like which code to include and which part to tell the LLM to focus in on to improve, which just brings us back to its ability to, like, let's say mildly improve our performance. I've had some good results getting it to help me just make alterations to SVGs or write out functions, kind of like boilerplate stuff that sped me up a lot. But I am at this point now very curious, with no AI at all, like, how long would it take me to actually build what it's created so far? I would argue that it's really not long. Like, for me to get something that would have these like star divs on the screen and for us to be able to move around like it has. It hasn't created any turning ability. It hasn't created any shooting ability. These green triangles virtually do nothing. I would say that it would take me probably about 15 minutes to get to this point. Now, mind you, it's done it with SVGs. I'd probably need some sort of an SVG editor or something like that. But like ultimately, like what you're seeing there, like can practically be done just with divs. But it's really not what I envisioned for the game. Like I envisioned nicer SVGs, nicer alien crafts. I actually do wonder if ChatGPT can actually generate nicer SVGs for me. They would look like nicer alien ships. That's like another video idea right there, is to see if we can actually continue this project, get it to I'll do my own version with we'll do two versions, like one with AI of this game and then one without, and I'll basically compete up against AI. I just hope that this helps bring a little bit of clarity about the capabilities of AI and kind of squash those FOMO things, or grandiose statements like AI is replacing software engineers and stuff, because I think that it's ultimately hurtful, and it'll make people feel bad about engineering, worry that their jobs are going to get replaced, and all the time they spent learning stuff is going to be useless, etc. So it's really important that we don't start making these types of claims without actually testing stuff. And I don't mean testing simple things, because that's what ChatGPT is really good at. But in the real world, building almost anything that exists out there is generally not simple things. They're highly complex things. So the tests you're doing aren't going to work out. So I think I'm gonna make maybe like a series about this, starting with this video. All right, well, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think this is a good idea, or if you have any other insight. Thanks for watching.